Before you go spending a whole bunch of money trying to make all your gear ultralight, try these first. I have a few simple behavior changes that will make your load lighter, make backpacking easier, and it's all completely free. Because a lot of times it's not your gear that's making backpacking harder. It's how you packed, it's the way you planned, it's the decisions you made before you left the house. And the good news is a lot of that is fixable for free. No new tent, no expensive Dyneema fabric necessary, no weird little toothbrush with the handle cut off. All you need are just some better habits, all right? So let's dive in. First of all, cold soaking. Just kidding. No, don't do that. It's disgusting. I know some of you are out there eating wet ramen, pretending like it's freedom, but it's not. It's sadness. Let's talk about what will actually make you happier out there on the trail. Hey y'all, my name is Adam and this is the Dad Camps YouTube channel. If you enjoy camping tips to help you get outside with your family, please don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me out with the channel. Okay, so carrying too much weight is one of the fastest ways to make a trip a lot less fun. It beats up your feet, it's harder on your knees, your back, it slows you down, and if you're bringing kids with you, it could be the difference between that was awesome and I never want to do that again. So I want to walk you through 7 things that you can do right now for free to lighten your load. So let's get into it, and by the way, you'll want to make sure you catch the last one because that is one that we can all definitely do better. All right, the first one is a big one. Stop carrying too much water. Water weighs about 2.2 pounds per liter. So if you're carrying 2 or 3 more liters than you actually need to carry with you, that adds up real fast. You could easily be carrying like 3 to 5 pounds of extra weight for no reason. Most people are not carrying extra water around because they're dumb. It's because they're unsure. They don't know exactly where the next water source is. They don't know if it's reliable. So they just load up some extra just in case. I get that. Sometimes it's necessary, but most of the time it's not a water problem. It's a planning problem. You've worked so hard to get your base weight down and get this lightweight pack and lightweight gear. So why, when you get out on the trail, would you throw in a few extra pounds when you don't really need to be doing that? So before the trip, I want to know where my water is. Not vaguely, actually know. Exactly where are the streams, the springs, the lakes, or whatever it is, and how far apart are they? And if it's not something like a lake that you know is going to be there, you can usually call ahead and talk to rangers and see if seasonal creeks are still flowing or if springs are available in certain areas, and then make note of these on your map ahead of time. And so here's a good rule of thumb. Carry about 1 liter of water per 2 hours of hiking in mild conditions. You know, every mile is not the same. You got to think about it if it's a steep, rocky climb, or is it going to be flat and quick? Think about that in terms of how long is it going to take to get to the next stretch. That's not a magic formula, but it gives you some idea or framework to try to figure out how much you'll need during each stretch. And obviously adjust for things like heat and altitude, how much you sweat, but it gives you a good starting point. And one trick here is that you can also camel up when you're at a water source. So basically top off your belly before you hit the trail. So you're carrying some of that inside of you instead of on your back. And a couple tips related to that. Go pee before you do this. Make sure you're 200 feet away from the water source though. Take some salt tabs or eat something salty, and then drink as much as is comfortable while you're at the water source. So then that's inside of you working to keep you hydrated already when you hit the trail. Now, this is not a replacement for all the water that you might need on a stretch, but it will hydrate you for the next hour or so. So if you think about that, if you've got a 2-hour hike to the next water source, you could camel up for the first hour and only carry, a half liter for that next hour. So drinking like a half liter of water at the water source could save you like 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of water weight on your back. Now, obviously, don't be reckless. I'm not trying to say that you need to cut your water as close as possible. If the next water source is far or it's hot, carry extra water. That's just part of the deal here. All too often I see if there's a reliable water source ahead, people carrying too much water unnecessarily. It's one of the easiest ways to make your pack heavier than it needs to be for no reason. One last idea here is that if you know you're a mile or 2 away from a reliable water source and you know you have too much water, then dump it. Ideally on your head if it's hot outside. It'll cool you off and you'll need to drink less water. If you've got a big climb the next couple miles to get to that next lake, then go ahead and dump one of your liters, get up there, and then drink when you get there. I mean, if you were just carrying 2 pounds in your hands for no reason and you could just ditch it, why wouldn't you do that? I feel like people used to be in the habit of avoiding doing this because filtering was such a pain, but these days with filters like the Catadine Be-Free water filter, filtering goes so quick and easy that it's not that big of a deal to refilter at the next source. Second one, Get yourself lighter. This one's not really a fun one, but be honest about the full system you got going here. Your body is part of the load. Backpackers love to talk about shaving ounces off of our gear, and that matters. For sure, it matters. But sometimes I think we get so focused on pack weight that we forget one of the biggest variables is our own body. Your knees do not care whether that extra weight comes from your pack weight or from your body. They just know you're hauling it uphill. Same with your ankles and your back and your lungs. The lighter and fitter your body is, the lighter that same pack weight feels. And it's not just lighter, it's more manageable, it's less punishing. And look, I'm not trying to say go become a fitness influencer here. I'm just saying, most of us dads, if we're honest, we have 5 pounds. We could easily lose at least 5 pounds and a little belly fat. I mean, think about that. How much would you pay to upgrade your gear to shave 5 pounds off of your pack weight? $100, $300, $600. That's not uncommon for trying to buy some ultralight gear out there. But this costs you nothing except for time and effort before the trip. And look, as a dad, I'm going to say this carefully. I'm not trying to say this is about looking a certain way or getting skinnier than you should be. It's about becoming more fit, more able to enjoy the miles instead of surviving them. And the cool thing is, hiking helps with that. Backpacking helps with that. The more you do it, the more your body adapts. You get stronger, you get better on climbs, you recover faster. The whole system starts working better. So yeah, shave a few ounces out of your pack, but also shave a few pounds off the engine carrying the gear. Okay, number 3 is one of the best ones if you're hiking with other people. Share the load. A group of people should not be carrying a bunch of duplicate stuff that they don't need. If you're with another adult, your spouse, your kids, or a buddy, spread out the gear in the group. Only one stove. Maybe only one water filter, one cook setup, split the shelter, split the tent pieces, split any heavier group stuff. And that can save a lot of weight really fast. Let's say an average 2-person tent weighs about 38 ounces. One person carries the body, about 17 ounces, and the other carries the poles, which is about 21 ounces. And that's a lot better than 2 people carrying solo shelters that each weigh 30 ounces each. Same idea with the kitchen. One stove, one pot. Everybody shares. A few years ago, I did a trip with some buddies, and all 3 of us had a jet boil to ourselves. Completely unnecessary. We're all carrying an extra few pounds in our pack just to be able to boil water simultaneously. Those things boil water in under a minute. It's like, just wait 2 minutes for your turn, bro. You might need only 1 water filter, maybe 2 if you have multiple people in your group. And just everybody carry their own bottles, obviously. 1 first aid kit for a few people is perfectly fine. Just make sure there's enough Advil in there for everyone. But those kind of things add up fast. And it doesn't all have to be perfectly equal because it's all gonna be less than you would be carrying individually anyway. You just need to be smart about it, that's the goal. One helpful item for this is to get you a little luggage scale that you can bring to the trailhead, and then that makes it really easy to kind of mix and match and swap gear at the trailhead to see how much each person is taking. I'll put the link to this one in the description. But don't get too bogged down on making it perfectly even. The point is, everybody has a great experience and wants to go again. Just think of it as one big team kit. That mindset helps a lot. And honestly, it's one of the biggest advantages of hiking with other people. So use it. All right, number 4, eat your heaviest food first. This one's simple, but it works. Your food bag is gonna be heaviest at the beginning of the trip, and it could sometimes weigh up to 10 pounds for like a 5-day trip. So you want your pack to get lighter faster. So start by eating the stuff that weighs the most at the beginning. Most hikers are carrying on average about 2 pounds of food per day. And so often that can be a huge chunk of your load. So think, the fresh stuff, heavier packaged stuff, anything bulky that doesn't give you a lot of benefit for the weight. Eat those things earlier. And then the lighter but calorie dense foods can do the work later. Things like nuts and nut butters, bars, tortillas, chocolate, stuff that gives you a lot without weighing you down. Don't think of your food as like one big pile. Think of it like a plan. In fact, when I'm packing for a trip, I actually plan this out ahead of time, and I pack each day's food in its own gallon-sized Ziploc. And so I know what food I'm going to be eating each day, and I always front load the heavier stuff. So day 1, I'm eating that salami, enjoying the heck out of it, and getting rid of it. And if you want to see a whole video of how I do meal planning for a 5-day trip, I'll link that video in the description too. But just think, what do I want gone first? And be conscious of that. But obviously, there's still a balance there. If you've got a huge mileage day later in the trip, make sure you keep the right fuel available for that. So don't get weird about it, but in general, eat the heaviest foods first. Your pack weight drops quicker and you feel better. Okay, number 5 is also an eating tip. Eat big and drink big before hitting the trail. And I'm not talking about beers. This is one of the easiest wins on the whole list, because before the trip starts, you've got access to a kitchen, or at least some kind of real food if you've planned halfway decently. Use that. Eat a solid dinner the night before hitting the trail. Eat a real breakfast that morning, not just grabbing gas station coffee on the way to the trailhead. And then hydrate well before hitting the trail, meaning starting the day before. Drink lots of water throughout the day before heading out on your trip. All of those calories and those ounces of water that you can take in before the trip begins is one less calorie or ounce that you need to be carrying on your back, at least for those early miles. Your body is a way more efficient place to store those than on your back. You know, think like a marathon runner. You're going out for a big excursion, you want a carbo load too, just like you would if you were running a race. That way you're showing up with a full tank. Now, obviously this doesn't mean that you can skip trail food. Don't do that. You still need a drink. But it does mean that if you're in the habit of doing this, you can get away with packing a little bit lighter, especially for shorter trips. So use the fact that you're still in civilization. Take advantage of that. Taking the time for a big breakfast before you start the hike is not a waste of time. It's just plain smart. So number 6 actually takes place after the trip. Audit your pack when you get home. This is one of the most useful habits you can build if you actually want to get better at backpacking. Because most people get home, I know I've done it too, you throw the pack in the corner and you don't touch it again for weeks or sometimes even until the next trip. But then you bring the same junk that you didn't use. You keep carrying the same unnecessary weight. So what you want to do instead is dump everything out as soon as you can after you get home and ask yourself a few questions. What did I bring that I never used? And I'm not talking about emergency gear. I mean the extra stuff that came along for the ride, but never earned its spot. Were there things that you wish that you had? Because sometimes the answer is not bring less things, it's bring a better option. Think about what broke or didn't work well. What annoyed you or got in your way? Which things were worth their weight and which things were absolutely not? Ask yourself those questions and then update your gear list while it's fresh in your mind. It can be something simple. Put it in your phone, put it in your notes app, make a spreadsheet. That's my thing. But whatever works for you. The point is keep track of what you're learning because that's how you dial in your setup over time. Not by guessing or by relying on your already overly taxed dad brain to remember next time. Pay attention, notice patterns, and get rid of the things that are literally not worth their weight. And then trip by trip, that's really how you get lighter. And again, if you're prepping for one larger trip, if you really want to be smart, go do a shakedown hike first. Learn close to home instead of waiting till you get out there into the middle of the wilderness. Okay, before I get to the last one, real quick, drop a comment in there. What's the dumbest thing that you've ever packed? Because I know I have those too. I think mine is probably packing a can of Dyneema stew and not bringing a can opener. True story, actually happened. All right, here's that last one that we can all do better at. Don't pack your fears. And to learn how to get better at this, click on over to this video here to hear my deep dive thoughts on what fears cause what packing mistakes and how to overcome them. And subscribe if you're into backpacking, camping, getting outside with your kids, and trying to not make it miserable. All right, y'all, I'll see you over there.